Hello everyone and welcome to the Monday, November 5th edition of the Sidereal Insights Astro Update. I'm 𝗦𝗲𝗏𝗧 𝗏. I am the astrologer and artist of Mystic Physick Astrology. So welcome to Sidereal Insights. Every 2 weeks, what we do is we explore the astrology of the current planetary transits across the heavens from a Western sidereal perspective. And if you need to look up your sidereal sign placements, you can use our easy online calculator at mystickphysick.com/sidereal tools to find out for free. So my purpose with this broadcast, as always, is to help you reconnect with your soul purpose and to remember why you came. I use Western sidereal astrology in my practice, and so that's the approach that we're going to be taking today. My aim, as always, is to provide guidance for you on how we can consciously use the energies of the transiting planets to affect our lives in a positive way. And so if you would, please like and share the broadcast. If you have a friend you know would be interested, please tag them. You can follow Mystic Physick on Facebook and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So thank you so much for joining me. First, let's talk a little bit about what's up for today. So I'll share a link here in the comments or in the video description for our YouTube channel so that you can subscribe. And I'll share some other links with you throughout the broadcast as we proceed. But let's talk a little bit about what's up for today. Let's recap some current transits. So right now we have Neptune retrograde in sidereal Aquarius. He will go direct later this month. We have Uranus retrograde in sidereal Aries, and he'll be stationing direct in early January. So be thinking, with Uranus being the last of our retrograde planets to go direct on the 7th of January, be thinking about what major initiation you'd like to make in early 2019 when we have the support of every planet in the solar system in direct motion all at one time. Go ahead and make your New Year's resolution, but don't start it. Don't take your first action towards whatever it is you want to initiate until after the first new moon of the year, which happens January 6th, and after Uranus, that last retrograde rebel, turns direct on the 7th. So this new moon in January on the 6th is going to bring a stellium in Sagittarius into play. So this is a time for thinking about the big picture, for looking at the long-term goal, for taking a broad outlook on what you want to accomplish in the area of your life where Sagittarius falls in your natal chart, or just for the year ahead in 2019. Right now, where we're at is that we have the sun in sidereal Libra. The sun entered sidereal Libra on the 18th. He'll be there until November 17th. We have Venus still retrograde in sidereal Libra. She'll go direct November 16th. This is a 6-week-long retrograde. She's been retrograde since early October, and it's an event that happens only once every 18 months or so, unlike the more familiar Mercury retrograde, which happens about 3 to 4 times a year and is also coming up in November. Now, Venus is backtracking across the entire trip she's made so far through sidereal Libra. She's going to return to direct motion, like I said, on the 16th, right at the cusp at 0 degrees of Libra. So during these weeks, you could find yourself reconsidering decisions you've made since the early days of September, or having second thoughts about purchases, investments, joint matters, those sorts of things as Venus retraces her steps. You could also, because Venus is at home in Libra, find her stay there presents an opportunity to reevaluate relationships and partnerships of all types and to recenter around what's truly important to you in your interpersonal relationships. Now, sometimes that means we can shed connections that aren't serving us any longer. And sometimes that means we might strengthen ties with those who are most important to us. But it's an excellent time to reassess business arrangements, to explore ways to amend those that are no longer profitable or equitable. So remember that retrograde is a weakened condition, and while reviewing what you've done can be a great way to use the retrograde, trying new things isn't a smart idea, especially radically new looks, hairstyles, clothing, especially luxury goods or anything for your appearance, such as makeup, jewelry, or accessories, especially anything that's going to be permanent or semi-permanent. If you're just trying out a new eye color, go ahead and take a risk, but don't try out a brand new hairstyle or do something like cosmetic surgery. That's just a little too much for Venus retrograde. Now save those things for when Venus is at full strength, and preferably when she's transiting your sign just after a well-supported new moon in that same sign. That's the ideal time to take actions on activities related to your appearance, where you want to improve your appearance or change your look, that sort of thing. Also, don't start new businesses, relationships, or other partnerships either. Wait until Venus is direct again sometime after mid-November, like I was saying. Now, what we also have, in addition to Venus retrograde, in early November, we just had Mercury step out of bounds, and he'll be out of bounds until the 20th of November. Now, recall that an out-of-bounds planet is one that's past 23 degrees, 27 minutes north or south declination. So that's to say that they're either 23 degrees, 27 minutes north or south of the equator. Okay, so that's the maximum northern or southern seasonal path of the sun as we trace our orbit in the sky through the year. So a planet is considered out of bounds when it travels north beyond the Tropic of Cancer or south beyond the Tropic of Capricorn. And out of bounds planets, remember, they don't play by the commonly accepted rules of society. They're considered to kind of walk to the beat of their own drum. They're kind of planetary mavericks. They're eccentric, they're unconventional, they're unorthodox, and this can be for good, it can be challenging. So the phrase that we use in the English language when we describe something that's not acceptable by normal societal standards, we say it's beyond the pale. Well, out-of-bounds planets can behave in a manner that you would consider beyond the pale, so to speak. Mercury is going to remain out of bounds, like I said, until November 20th, and he's going to reach his maximum southern declination on November 12th. Now, during these few weeks, we're kind of more inclined to innovative thinking in any field requiring a skill for analysis or problem solving or communication, so Mercury-related fields. But on the flip side, it's really easy to become obsessed with stories, whether that's literature or film or even the stories we tell about our own lives and our own lived experience. So keep that in mind. We can also be prone to misconstruing words and blowing things out of proportion when we do. So do be prepared and try to keep in mind that during Mercury out of bounds from November 2nd to November 20th, these things may be more likely to occur. Now, we also have Mercury retrograde happening in November. He goes retrograde on the 16th, the same day that Venus stations direct. Get your survival guide. Those of you who don't have one yet, you'll want to get a Mercury retrograde survival guide for general guidance and specific tips on how you can use this Mercury retrograde in alignment with the house that Scorpio falls in your sidereal natal chart. And here's a secret. This practice that I teach in the Mercury retrograde survival guide also works if you use the tropical zodiac. So you don't have to make any correction or adjustment there other than to be working with your tropical placements and a tropical chart. So the Mercury retrograde survival guide, I wrote it for folks. I know that some of you really kind of normally dread Mercury retrograde. I know that there's a tendency to feel like what can go wrong will go wrong when Mercury's retrograde, and that's kind of emphasized with this feeling that that's just the way that Mercury retrograde is. That's the way it has to be. So if that's you, you'll want to get this in-depth guide on Mercury retrograde. You'll learn in the guide what critical actions to avoid during every retrograde cycle. You'll learn what you can do to protect yourself from Mercury's more mischievous shenanigans, and how to turn any Mercury retrograde cycle around and put it to work for you. And so the Mercury Retrograde Survival Guide is going to teach you specific steps that you can take to prepare for retrograde so that it's smooth sailing. It's going to teach you how to get deliberate about using the retrograde energy in alignment with your personal natal blueprint for maximum manifesting potential. And it's going to teach you how to know where to dive deep and consciously explore your life so that Mercury retrograde is working with you and not against you, okay? And this way, with a little advanced preparation and a few basic precautions, you can align your actions and your intentions with Mercury's plans and take charge of your Mercury retrograde experience. And then hopefully, ideally, the end goal is that you, like I, will come to love Mercury retrograde and really appreciate the opportunity that it presents to review and make changes in your life. So the Mercury Retrograde Survival Guide, get a copy if you don't have one already. It's complete with strategies for what to do if you don't, or if you can't, avoid taking certain actions during Mercury retrograde. And it includes kind of an expanded house by house breakdown of strategies that you can employ to use the Mercury retrograde to your advantage. And what you'll do is you'll refer back to the guide every time Mercury goes retrograde, which is roughly 3 to 4 times a year, to see which house Mercury will be retrograding in each time that he happens. And I'll tell you right here on the broadcast when that is and what sign he'll be when he does. So you'll want to get your copy of the Mercury Retrograde Survival Guide before it gets underway so you can kind of get prepared and make a plan for how you'd like to use it. Also, don't forget to read up on the November overview and short reports if you haven't already. And I want to thank you for your patience. The full horoscopes by sign for November are on their way. They will be here. But you can read the November overview and short reports at mystickphysick.com/sidereal-monthly-horoscopes, and I'll share a link for that as well. And then also new this year, we've released an academic version of the Ultimate Astrological Planner. I'm very excited about that. The academic planner includes 13 months from August 2018 through August 2019, unlike the 2019 yearly calendar, which is from January 2019 to January 2020. You can check out all the new variations and everything that's available at mystickphysick.com/2019. And while you're there, be sure to check out the new Add Your Natal Chart planner upgrade option and the optional planner tabs that we have available now so that you can find what you're looking for quickly and easily in your Ultimate Astrological Planner. And so I want to thank you for watching and joining me today for the Sidereal Insights Astro Update. Please like and share this broadcast, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you. Bye.